Welcome to Eye on Africa. These are our top stories. South Africa reports its first deaths from COVID-19. This as the army and the police patrol the streets nationwide as a 3-week lockdown comes into effect. Uganda's schools, places of worship and public transport are all off limits for a month, but President Yoweri Museveni has stopped short of ordering a full lockdown. And as the virus continues to spread in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the authorities there are suggesting a lockdown in the capital, Kinshasa. Welcome back. I'm Tom Burgess-Watson. We're going to begin in South Africa, where the first 2 deaths from COVID-19 were announced this Friday. Those deaths were reported as President Cyril Ramaphosa ordered the country's 57 million people to stay home for 3 weeks. This in a bid to try and halt the spread of the virus. Well, South Africa has so far seen just over 1,000 cases of COVID-19. That's roughly 1/3 of all the cases reported on the African continent. Well, let's get the latest now and speak to our correspondent, Emzi Ferreira, who's in Cape Town for us. Emzi, is the lockdown being fully respected, observed and adhered to?
No, it's not. The majority of the population is respecting the lockdown, but many are not. We've just heard from the police that they've arrested 55 people since last night for breaching the rules. It's, of course, a full lockdown, but nightclubs stayed open after midnight. We've seen people walking their dogs, going for a run along the Cape Town beachfront. So the authorities have issued a very strict message today saying that, of course, we have seen our first death. There was, in fact, only 1 death. We've heard that the second person was suspected to have died of COVID. The test result came through today, and it was, in fact, negative. But the government has expressed their condolences with the family of the one woman who died of this and sent a message that this is real, and therefore people should stay at home.
Yeah, the number of cases is forecast to rise sharply, it would appear, in the days ahead.
Well, we're now at 1,117 confirmed cases. This is exactly 3 weeks after the first case was diagnosed. On Monday, when President Ramaphosa announced this lockdown, there were 402 cases, and that was a 6-fold increase in the space of 8 days. He warned, of course, on Monday that if the lockdown was not implemented, there will be tens of thousands of cases within weeks and soon hundreds of thousands. So it has to be seen now whether this measure will in fact flatten the curve.
And how is South Africa's healthcare system coping? Is it able to deal with this these volumes of patients?
Well, up to this point, the health system is coping, but the authorities have, of course, taken emergency steps in the last few weeks to prepare for this crisis. But the government readily admits that it will not be able to handle a huge increase in the numbers. There's simply not enough hospital beds here, not enough ICU units, and crucially, far too few ventilators, with only about 1,800 available in the whole country.
OK, well, thank you very much indeed for that update. Correspondent Emzi Ferreira in Cape Town. Thank you. The police in Uganda say that 2 men have been hospitalized today after being shot just outside the capital Kampala for violating restrictions aimed at curbing the spread of the coronavirus. Well, although President Yoweri Museveni has stopped short of ordering a full lockdown, people are being urged to stay at home. Well, schools, places of worship and public transport are all off limits for 1 month. France 24's Simon Wolfart has this report from neighbouring Rwanda.
On Thursday, the sound of police gunshots was heard in central Kampala. The police came to remove street vendors and close non-essential shops. Videos and photos shared widely show that the police officers used violence to disperse the crowds, hitting offenders with sticks. The police also confirmed that officers shot and badly injured 2 men for driving a motorcycle and disrespecting the restriction of movement imposed on Wednesday. Yesterday, police and military personnel allegedly beat up fruit sellers and customers in order to restrict public gatherings. Only food shops, pharmacies and restaurants are currently allowed to stay open. For street vendors and shop owners, the lockdown brings a significant cut to revenues. Meanwhile, the American embassy published a security alert advising people to avoid central Kampala as they expect an increase in criminal activities related to the loss of income many are facing during the lockdown.
France 24's Simon Wolfart reporting there from Kigali. Kenya, meanwhile, has 31 confirmed cases of COVID-19, but the government is nevertheless taking steps to curb the spread. Well, a curfew came into effect this evening at 7 p.m. local time. It continues until 5 a.m. Well, President Uhuru Kenyatta has warned that more drastic measures will be put in place if necessary. The president has also ordered tax breaks to help cushion the economic impact. Well, the African continent is in the eye of a perfect economic storm in the form of the coronavirus, plummeting oil and commodity prices, and mounting deficits. And that's leaving some governments with a difficult choice between repaying debts and spending on healthcare. Well, the global demand for metals has plunged, and that has hit countries like the Democratic Republic of Congo particularly hard. The DRC has seen more than 50 cases of COVID-19, and on the eve of a total lockdown in the capital Kinshasa, a case has been reported in the east of the country. While as the virus continues to spread in Kinshasa, the authorities are suggesting a full lockdown. France 24's Clément Bonneron has more.
Washing your hands with soap and water is one of the most effective ways to limit the spread of the novel coronavirus. It sounds easy, but for many it's not. Here in the DRC, many families only have very limited access to running water. Apollinaire lives on this plot with 7 other people. Here, as in many neighbourhoods around Kinshasa, the water supply is precarious. Even basic hygiene is a luxury.
Pour avoir un bidon de 20 litres, à force de faire une semaine. Maintenant, à raison de ces nous l'avons avec l'eau de pluie.
Across the city, hygiene measures are proving difficult to implement. Markets are overcrowded and vendors have no choice but to cram around their stalls, despite the instruction to keep a distance of 1 metre between individuals. Dr. Kana and his team are doing their best to raise awareness about COVID-19. Access to information is a major challenge. Some believe that the novel coronavirus doesn't exist.
Ici, la communication n'a commencé que quand il y a eu des cas qui sont arrivés. C'est de façon efficace, entre guillemets encore. Maintenant, les gens ne sont pas informés. Même cette communication au départ a eu beaucoup de couacs. Par exemple, pour les premiers cas, on a parlé pour les mêmes problèmes. On a cité des...
As the virus continues to spread in Kinshasa, local authorities have suggested putting the city on lockdown. Residents fear a major loss of income.
And we're going to end in Uganda, where the musician-turned-politician Robert Kyagulanyi, who's also known by his stage name of Bobby Wine, has released a single which aims to raise awareness of the coronavirus and, in turn, stem its spread in the East African nation. Well, the song, in collaboration with fellow artist Nubian Lee, warns people of the symptoms and stresses the importance of personal hygiene. Everyone is a potential victim, but everyone is a potential solution. That's just some of the lyrics in that song. We're going to leave you with this clip. Thank you for watching Eye on Africa. Do stay tuned to France 24.
Discipline and personal hygiene, and make sure you regularly wash your hands. Keep a distance from everyone. Report anything like